Virgin Voyages looks like the coolest cruise line at sea. Adults only, free Wi-Fi, no daily tips. But once you look past the marketing, there are things first-time cruisers don't realize until they're already on board. Some are small adjustments. Some will genuinely surprise traditional cruisers. And a few could cost you money, or at least change your expectations if you don't know them in advance. Today, we're breaking down 21 things Virgin Voyages doesn't exactly advertise to first-timers, from real pricing realities to policies that are very different from other cruise lines. Stick with me until the end because a few of these might completely change whether Virgin is right for you. Let's get into it. Number 1. Adults only doesn't mean quiet. Yes, Virgin Voyages is strictly 18 plus, and there are no kids on board. But if you're picturing a peaceful, ultra-serene sailing, think again. Adults only here doesn't automatically mean calm and sleepy. In fact, the vibe leans energetic, social, and nightlife-driven. The entertainment is more risque than what you'll see on most mainstream cruise lines, with late-night DJ parties, themed dance events, and shows that push boundaries a bit. The Manor nightclub often stays busy well past midnight, and deck parties can feel more like a beach club than a traditional cruise. For many guests, that's exactly the appeal, an adults-only ship designed entirely around adult tastes without having to tone things down for families. But if you're used to a quieter, luxury-style atmosphere where evenings wind down early, the buzz on board might surprise you. Virgin isn't trying to be traditional. It's built for grown-ups who want a little more edge with their vacation. Number 2. No traditional drink package. The bar tab system. One of the biggest surprises for first-time Virgin cruisers is that there's usually no unlimited drink package like you'll find on many other cruise lines. Instead, Virgin uses something called the bar tab. Rather than paying a flat daily rate for unlimited drinks, you preload a set amount of money before your cruise. For example, you might prepay $300 and receive $350 in drink credit, depending on current promotions. It sounds simple, but it changes how you budget. The system works best for moderate drinkers who enjoy a few cocktails, wine with dinner, or specialty coffee throughout the trip. But if you're someone who would normally maximize a traditional unlimited package, you may end up spending more overall. The good news is that soda is included in your fare, so you're not paying extra for basic soft drinks, and specialty coffee can be charged to your bar tab as well. Still, it requires a little more awareness and self-monitoring compared to an all-you-can-drink style package many cruisers are used to. Number 3. The unique navigation system. One thing that can confuse first-time Virgin Voyages cruisers is how the ship handles directions. Instead of using the traditional nautical terms, port and starboard, Virgin simplifies things with letters. Cabins ending in A are on one side of the ship, while those ending in Z are on the other. If your room number ends in M, that means you're midship. It sounds simple, but you absolutely need to pay attention to the full cabin number, including that final letter, or you could find yourself trying to open the wrong door on the opposite side of the corridor. Beyond cabin letters, the stairwells are also color-coded to make navigation easier. You'll notice different carpet colors, typically blue, red, or purple, depending on whether you're forward, mid, or aft. Directional signage throughout the ship is clear and modern, which helps a lot, especially during the first day when everything feels unfamiliar. Once you understand the system, it's actually very efficient, but it's definitely different from traditional cruise layouts. Number 4. The app is absolutely critical. On Virgin Voyages, your phone isn't just helpful, it's essential. The Virgin app controls a huge part of your cruise experience, especially when it comes to dining and entertainment. Unlike traditional cruise lines where you might just walk into the main dining room, most restaurants on Virgin require reservations through the app. The same goes for major shows and performances. And here's the part many first-timers don't expect. Reservations fill up fast. Fitness classes, which are included in your fare, can be fully booked within hours of boarding. Popular restaurants and headline shows can show sold out almost immediately. The smartest move is to book everything as early as the system allows, ideally before you even step on board. That said, don't panic if the app says a venue is full. Virgin does hold some spots for walk-ins, and cancellations happen throughout the sailing. Still, if you prefer having a set schedule and guaranteed plans, you'll want to treat booking through the app as one of the first priorities of your cruise, not something you handle later. Number 5. No main dining room. A real culture shock. One of the biggest differences on Virgin Voyages is the complete absence of a traditional main dining room. There's no large MDR with fixed seating times, no assigned tables, and no same waiter every night experience. Instead, the ship is built around multiple specialty-style restaurants, and the surprising part is that they're all included in your fare. You'll find venues like a steakhouse, Italian trattoria, upscale Mexican, and more, each designed to feel like a land-based restaurant rather than a cruise dining hall. That sounds great, and for many people it is, but there's a trade-off. These venues are smaller, which means capacity is limited. Reservations are typically required through the app, and popular time slots can disappear quickly. Dining on Virgin feels more flexible and modern, but it also requires more planning. If you're used to simply walking into a massive dining room at the same time every night, this shift can feel different, and for some first-time cruisers, it's definitely an adjustment. Number 6. Premium pricing with inclusions. Virgin Voyages isn't usually a budget cruise line, and that can surprise first-time shoppers who are comparing base fares. Prices fluctuate by season and demand, but interior cabins typically fall in the $140 to $190 per person per night range. Sea terrace balcony cabins often land around $200 to $240 or more per person per night. Finding fares under $100 per person per night is rare and usually limited to short sailings or special promotions. Caribbean itineraries tend to be the most affordable compared to Europe or specialty routes. Now, the higher price does include more upfront than many mainstream lines. All restaurants are included, basic Wi-Fi is covered, and daily gratuities are already built into the fare. That said, it's not fully all-inclusive. Alcohol, specialty beverages, shore excursions, and upgraded Wi-Fi still cost extra. So while the sticker price is higher, part of what you're paying for is fewer surprise charges at the end, but you'll still want to budget beyond the base fare. Number 7. No formal nights. If you're used to packing a tuxedo, cocktail gown, or formal wear for a cruise, Virgin Voyages does things differently. There are no traditional formal nights, no captain's gala requiring black tie attire, and no pressure to dress to the nines unless you want to. The overall dress code on board is relaxed, but that doesn't mean sloppy. Most guests still dress stylishly for dinner, just in a more modern, smart casual way. Think tailored shirts, chic dresses, fashionable resort wear, not tuxedos and ball gowns. The closest thing to a dress-up night is Scarlet Night, when guests are encouraged to wear red and lean into the themed party atmosphere. Even then, it's more fun and expressive than formal. The crowd tends to trend fashionable and put together, but not ultra-formal or traditional. For many cruisers, this is a relief. Less packing, less pressure. But if you love the elegance and tradition of classic formal nights, you should know that Virgin has intentionally left that part of cruising behind. Number 8. Scarlet Night is a big deal. On Virgin Voyages, Scarlet Night isn't just another themed party, it's the signature event of the entire cruise. And yes, the entire ship turns red. The lighting shifts throughout the decks, stairwells, and public spaces, creating a dramatic glow that completely changes the atmosphere on board. Guests are strongly encouraged to wear red, and while it's not required, you'll definitely feel left out if you didn't pack something to match the theme. There's even a playful octopus-inspired storyline woven into the night, with tentacle decorations and surprise moments popping up around the ship. Performers appear in unexpected areas, creating immersive experiences rather than just one central show. As the evening builds, it all leads to a high-energy deck party with DJs, dancing, and a late-night celebration vibe. It's bold, social, and very on-brand for Virgin. For many sailors, Scarlet Night becomes the highlight of the cruise, but only if you're prepared to fully participate. Number 9. Signature balcony hammocks, an iconic feature.
One of the most recognizable features of Virgin Voyages is the signature red woven hammock found in sea terrace balcony cabins. At first glance, some cruisers assume it's just a stylish design element or a marketing gimmick, but once you actually use it, you realize it's surprisingly comfortable. The hammock is firmly secured to the balcony structure and offers a relaxing spot to sway gently while looking out at the ocean. It's perfect for morning coffee, sunset views, or simply escaping the busy pool deck for a quieter moment. That said, it can be slightly tricky to climb into, especially if the ship is moving or after a couple of cocktails. It takes a little balance and coordination the first time. Still, many sailors say the hammock becomes their favorite place on the ship. It's not something you'll find on other cruise lines, and it's easily one of Virgin's most distinctive and memorable cabin features.
Number 10. Limited pool space. One thing that surprises many first-time Virgin Voyages sailors is the size of the main pool area. In photos and promotional videos, it can look spacious and dramatic, but in person, the main pool is smaller than many people expect. A large portion of the pool is actually a shallow ledge designed more for sitting or lounging in the water rather than full swimming. The actual deeper swim space is fairly compact. Around the main pool, there are roughly about 200 loungers, which is a small percentage compared to the ship's total passenger capacity. On sea days, especially when the weather is perfect, that means real competition for prime chairs. Guests tend to claim spots early, and by late morning, the area can feel crowded. There are private cabanas available, but those typically start around $250 or more per day, depending on the sailing. For a cruise line focused on adults and social energy, the limited pool space is something you'll definitely want to plan around. Number 11. Uncomfortable public seating. Virgin Voyages is known for its modern, trendy design, but that doesn't always translate into comfort. In several public areas, you'll find lounge or bed-style seating that looks stylish and is actually quite soft, but it can feel a little awkward socially. If you're meeting new people or sharing space with another couple, sitting together on a large daybed isn't always the most natural setup. In other spots around the ship, especially in open common areas, there are trendy wooden chairs that prioritize aesthetics over comfort. They look sleek and minimal, but after sitting for a while, you may notice they're not the coziest option. Some sections can even feel a bit cafeteria-like or schoolyard-inspired, rather than upscale and relaxing. Interestingly, the seating inside restaurants is generally comfortable and well-designed. It's mainly the public lounges and outdoor areas where comfort feels inconsistent. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something first-time cruisers often notice. Number 12. No cruise director and almost no announcements. One of the most noticeable differences on Virgin Voyages is the absence of a traditional cruise director constantly coming over the loudspeaker. There's no booming morning voice reminding you about trivia, bingo, or spa specials. In fact, outside of mandatory safety instructions at the start of the sailing, announcements are extremely limited. You won't hear frequent sales pitches for art auctions, jewelry events, or future cruise deposits echoing through the ship. There are also no embarkation day photographers lining up passengers for staged welcome photos, and you won't see roaming photographers interrupting dinner. The overall atmosphere is intentionally quieter and less commercial. Mornings especially feel calm, compared to many mainstream cruise lines, where announcements can start early and continue throughout the day. On Virgin, most information is delivered through the app instead of the PA system. For many cruisers, this creates a more relaxed, adult-focused environment without constant interruptions. However, if you enjoy the structured, host-led energy of a traditional cruise director guiding the day's events, the quieter style may feel very different. Number 13. Small bathrooms, an honest drawback. One of the most common surprises for first-time Virgin Voyages cruisers is the size of the standard cabin bathrooms. They follow a compact European-style layout, which means everything is efficiently designed but very close together. The shower, toilet, and vanity are positioned in tight proximity, maximizing space but leaving little room to move around. If you're traveling as a couple, getting ready at the same time can be a challenge. There's simply not much extra elbow room, and you'll likely need to take turns when using the sink or changing clothes. The design is modern and functional, but it can feel noticeably smaller compared to bathrooms on some other cruise lines in the same category. Storage space is also limited, so keeping toiletries organized takes a bit of planning. It's not necessarily uncomfortable, but it is snug. If bathroom space is important to you, upgrading to a suite offers significantly more room and a more spacious overall layout. Number 14, limited grab-and-go food. Virgin Voyages does not have a traditional self-serve buffet, and that can be an adjustment for cruisers who are used to walking up, grabbing a plate, and sitting down within minutes. Instead, the ship features a food hall concept called the galley. While the food quality is generally higher and made fresh to order, it also means you usually have to place an order and wait for it to be prepared. During busy times, especially on port mornings or sea days, that wait can stretch longer than you expect. Even something simple like pizza, which is very popular on board, can take 15 to 20 minutes during peak hours. There are quick options available, such as pre-made items or smaller snack venues, but the overall grab-and-go selection is more limited compared to cruise lines that operate large buffets. If you're someone who values speed and convenience over presentation, this difference may stand out. Planning a little extra time for meals can help avoid frustration. Number 15, the Bimini Beach Club Experience. Instead of a traditional private island, Virgin Voyages offers access to its beach club located on Bimini in the Bahamas. When the ship docks, guests take a complimentary tram ride from the pier to the club, which is included in your cruise fare. The setting feels more like a stylish resort than a typical cruise line island stop. In the morning, the atmosphere is calm and relaxed, with softer music playing and plenty of space to unwind by the pool or along the beach. It's an ideal time to grab a lounger and enjoy the clear, bright blue water. As the day progresses, however, the energy shifts. By afternoon, a DJ often takes over, music gets louder, and the pool area transforms into more of a party scene. Guests looking for quieter space can still find it on the beachside, but the main pool becomes lively. Another plus is that your onboard bar tab credit can be used at the beach club for drinks, making the experience seamless and connected to your cruise. Number 16. Officers don't wear traditional uniforms. One subtle but noticeable difference on Virgin Voyages is that ship officers do not wear the traditional white uniforms with stripes and formal insignia that many cruisers are used to seeing. Instead, their presentation is more casual and in line with Virgin's modern, lifestyle-focused brand image. While they are still professional and clearly in leadership roles, they often blend in more naturally with the overall onboard atmosphere. For some guests, this feels refreshing and less formal, reinforcing the idea that Virgin is trying to move away from old-school cruise traditions. However, for more traditional cruisers, this can feel unusual. It can be harder to immediately identify who the captain or senior officers are without the clear visual cues of rank and uniform. On many classic cruise lines, those uniforms symbolize hierarchy, maritime tradition, and ceremony. Virgin intentionally softens that structure to create a more relaxed environment. It's not better or worse, just different. But if you enjoy the formality and pageantry of traditional cruise culture, you may notice this change right away. Number 17. Fitness classes fill instantly. Virgin Voyages includes group fitness classes in your cruise fare, which sounds like a fantastic perk. You'll find options like yoga, HIIT workouts, spin classes, and even specialty sessions held in dedicated fitness spaces around the ship. The catch, capacity is limited and spots can disappear incredibly fast. Many first-time cruisers are surprised to learn that classes can fill up within hours of boarding, sometimes even sooner once reservations open in the app. If staying active is important to you, you'll need to reserve immediately, ideally as soon as booking becomes available, or the moment you step on board. Waiting even a few hours can mean everything shows as full.
While Virgin does allow for walk-ins if someone doesn't show up, the no-show situation can feel inconsistent. You might get lucky and grab a last-minute spot, or you could show up dressed for a workout only to be turned away. The classes themselves are high quality and well-run, but securing a place requires planning and quick action, something many first-timers don't expect on a cruise vacation.
Number 18. Loyalty Status Match. One major perk that many first-time Virgin Voyages cruisers don't realize is the Loyalty Status Match program. If you already hold elite status with another cruise line, such as Royal Caribbean, Carnival, or select others, Virgin may match your status level, even if it's your very first sailing with them. That means you don't necessarily have to start from zero in their loyalty program. Depending on your matched tier, you could receive valuable perks right away. These often include complimentary specialty coffee credit, free laundry services, and invitations to exclusive cocktail events on board. In some cases, you may also receive bar tab credit or premium Wi-Fi benefits. On top of that, Virgin Voyages allows you to earn Virgin Red points, which connect to the broader Virgin brand ecosystem. This can make trying Virgin much more appealing for experienced cruisers who already have status elsewhere. It lowers the risk of switching brands and adds immediate value. The key is checking eligibility before you sail. Many people don't even know this option exists.
Number 19. Some items are strictly prohibited. Like all cruise lines, Virgin Voyages has a list of restricted items, but there are a few policies that first-time sailors often overlook. For example, steamers and clothing irons are not allowed on board due to fire risk. Even though many travelers rely on them to remove wrinkles, security will confiscate them during embarkation. Power strips are another common issue, especially surge-protected ones. While basic non-surge USB hubs may be permitted, traditional surge protectors are prohibited because they can interfere with the ship's electrical systems. Alcohol policies are also strict. Guests are not allowed to bring hard liquor on board, and any spirits purchased in port will typically be held until the end of the cruise. Drones are generally restricted for onboard use and may not be allowed to operate from the ship or at private destinations due to safety and privacy concerns. And despite changing laws in some states or countries, marijuana is strictly prohibited, even if it's legal at your departure port. Cruise ships operate under federal and maritime law. Always verify the latest policy before packing.
Number 20. Limited fleet and routes. Even in 2026, Virgin Voyages is still operating with a relatively small fleet compared to major cruise lines that have 20, 25, or even 30-plus ships sailing worldwide. Virgin now has 4 ships in service, including its newest additions, but that still means fewer sailing dates, fewer departure ports, and fewer global regions overall. The Caribbean remains its strongest market with the widest selection of itineraries and year-round availability. The Mediterranean is another core region during the summer season. In 2026, Alaska officially joins the lineup, giving Virgin cruisers a colder climate option that many had been waiting for. However, you still won't find regular sailings to places like Asia, Hawaii, or Australia. If you enjoy having dozens of itinerary choices across multiple continents, Virgin can feel limited. On the other hand, the smaller fleet creates a more consistent, controlled brand experience. Just understand that destination variety isn't their biggest selling point, the onboard lifestyle is. Number 21. It's not luxury, it's lifestyle premium. Virgin Voyages is often described as premium, but it's important to understand what that really means. This isn't traditional white-glove luxury with grand staircases, crystal chandeliers, and formal elegance. Instead, the ships lean into a modern, industrial design with clean lines, bold accents, and a boutique hotel vibe. Some areas feel sleek and stylish, while others can come across as minimalistic or even understated compared to classic luxury cruise lines. There's less glitz and traditional maritime pageantry and more emphasis on atmosphere and social spaces. Virgin focuses heavily on experiences, unique dining concepts, immersive entertainment, themed nights, and curated events, rather than big attractions like water slides or rock climbing walls. It's less about spectacle and more about vibe. For some cruisers, that lifestyle-focused approach feels refreshing and contemporary. For others, expecting classic luxury touches and grandeur, it can feel different than anticipated. Understanding this distinction helps set the right expectations before you sail. And there you have it, 20 things Virgin Voyages doesn't exactly spell out for first-time cruisers. It's modern, it's different, and it definitely breaks a lot of traditional cruise rules. For some travelers, that's exactly the appeal. For others, it can feel like a big adjustment. The key is knowing what you're walking into before you book, so there are no surprises once you're on board. So now the question is, does Virgin sound like your kind of cruise? If you found this helpful, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more honest cruise breakdowns. And if you've sailed Virgin before, drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you book it again?